First of all, he always led with defense. He ran different defenses. He always led with defense. That was very important to him. And what I like most about him, he took chances on kids. He took chances on kids and molded them. 98% of the time it worked out. Allen Iverson, Patrick Ewing didn't have the best reputation coming out of high school. A lot of those guys, Graham.
Morning.
And he took chances on kids, and he molded them and kept them on the right path in Washington, D.C., which is, I don't know what people see out in the area, but Washington, D.C. is not roses and trees, and, you know, it was hard on that campus, and that's where the Hoya paranoia came about, because he kept his team tight and in a group, and it was just amazing to see how he did that. Different type teams. He had big teams. He had small teams. He coached what he brought in there and what he had. The one year he had Zoe and Dikembe playing together.
Twin Towers.
So I just liked how it always started with defense with them and how hard they played. And as the coach has said, it had to start in practice. You just don't get to a game and see that. So it was just amazing how he brought those kids and that toughness together. He got some kids from not too good areas because he really recruited from New Orleans. I don't know whether you've been to New Orleans, but yeah, pretty rough there.
Coach Lawton joined me here. We have three coaching legends. Coach Burrows has won 7 state titles at Dillard High School in Fort Lauderdale. And Coach Lawton has won 6 at a powerhouse in Miami. That would be Miami Norland. And Coach Randall, who is now at Chaminade, he has won a state record 9 state titles. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me here tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Okay. And tonight it's all about John Thompson, and you know, just a great father figure, role model to not only some future Hall of Famers, but just had a great impact. I know just watching him and just seeing how he treated his players was something different for me, just from afar, how he kind of shielded them from too much media coverage. And he was a father. He wasn't just a coach trying to use them for wins. You felt like he genuinely cared for his players. And that stood out to me. It wasn't just about the championships. It was about, no, I'm here to protect you. I'm here to make sure that you grow into a man and a respectable man. So I'm going to open up the floor. Who wants to start? And just tell me how Coach Thompson, where were you when his emergence started, and how has he affected your careers?
Well, I can say how he affected my career is that when he stood up for equality, number one, and also for a young Black coach at the time, coming out as far as a basketball coach, he really instilled in me that we were just more than talented or had talented or athletic players and kind of rolled the ball out and just say play, opposed to we were or we are the type of coach that understood the X's and O's and knew how to set up a game plan and to play like pretty much chess and understanding the game. He kind of erased that from the African-American coaches as far as looking at us as, you know, you got the talented players, you got the most athletic players, all you do is roll the ball out and play. And I think with what we have on your live shows, Burrows as well as Lawton, we've proven that, you know, it was much more than that and just rolling the ball out and telling our players to play.
Okay.
Yeah. If I can chime in,
Sure.
we had the opportunity to host them when I first got started coaching. You know, Georgetown, they must have been playing UM or somebody, and you know, he brought his team to Dillard, and you would have been amazed at how we try to get our kids to move and do this and do that. That's the way he was. So you could see the respect that his players gave him. You could see the respect that he demanded, but he gave that, you know, he gave that as well. You know, John Thompson was almost a game changer in the fact that even with Nike, he may have been one of the first schools to come out with the Jordan uniforms. So everybody's looking. So he was a trendsetter as well.
Right.
You know, amongst all those other things, like, okay, well, why are they wearing Jordan? You know, okay, well, he's setting that trend. You know, majority of his team was black. Didn't mean all of his team was black, but majority of his team was black playing in DC.
Mm-hmm.
You know, playing a major college schedule. You know, and doing well.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you know, you had young black coaches or young men, whether regardless of whatever color, you know, they're watching this. You know, they want to emulate. You know, where's this success, and you know, what is this guy about right here? You know, so.
Okay.
And since I'm a little bit younger than my colleagues,
Okay.
Georgetown blew up. I was still in high school. I graduated in 1985, 1984. They won the championship.
Right.
Yeah.
So even in Miami, Florida, we were wearing the Georgetown gear, the jackets,
Yeah.
the shoes like Coach Burrows just mentioned. And he won the national championship in '84. And what I noticed was how hard and physical they played.
Yeah.
I mean, they just played
That's
hard.
what they were known for. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, that was a reflection of him. And you talking about a guy that got to Georgetown in 1973, an all PW white school, and 98% of his kids graduated.
Right.
That's what I love that he brought to the table: his toughness, how hard they played, how he stepped up for Prop 48. I remember the game he walked out on. He didn't coach to show his disapproval for that. You know, the towel, the scowl and menacing way his teams played. I just loved him from afar, even back when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I'm like, Georgetown. We were all about GT, baby.
Yeah.
And down here in Miami, Florida, which was crazy.
No doubt, no doubt. And he gave talk about how he was a no nonsense kind of coach, and he suffered no fools, and he stuck with it. Like he didn't start out that way, and then kind of changed, but he was solid. He was the same coach from the first day to the last. And somebody, please speak on that in terms of he was consistent with it, and eventually the media adjusted to, and his players obviously, adjusted to the way he was going to run his program, and it was going to be like a business, not just here, we're trying to win here, and we're going to favor this or favor that. But just tell me how consistent he was in his discipline and his message.
Well,
I can say that he was very consistent, no nonsense. And I kind of got a lot of that from him as well, is that, it's no nonsense. I'm here to coach you as a player, and also in reference to the parents, to coach their kid and not have them to coach me. So it was really my way or the highway, and I was pretty fair, and I'm still am. I'm pretty fair, and setting the pace of you can be successful if you attain the things that I'm trying to give to you, and not trying to lure you wrong or to dismantle your game or your mind, but at least have an open mind to take a chance to what I'm trying to direct and get out of you. So that way, if it doesn't happen, then that's on me. But if you don't, and then basically it's on you. So it's a no nonsense, because we really grind, and my thing is playing extremely hard and getting the best out of you. And I know some players are less skilled as the others, but my job was to really get the best out of that player that he can give me. And that's something else that I got from Coach Thompson.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. I think that was a big part of him, is that he wanted the best of you. He knew that, Georgetown and those players would be under the spotlight. When you start thinking about some of the players or some of the teams he's had, but it was demanding. It was, I want to get the best out of you because I know you're going to be in that spotlight. You've got to perform this way. You've got to, and not just, excuse me, on the floor, but off the floor. You've got to be a certain way. I know the documentary with him and Allen Iverson was just on, last week, and talked about, okay, well, I've got to kind of groom this kid that's out of Virginia a little bit as well, and show him that it's more than just being an athlete. Okay, you've got to represent, you've got to do some of these things that are going to make your life a little bit more, a little bit more successful. And it was demanding. And I'm gonna tell you, he had them running around. I had never been in Melvin's practice or Coach Lawton's practice, but he had them, and these are 20, 21, 22 year, and get there. And I mean, they're running to station to station, not saying a word, no lagging, no this, no that. And it was, total demanding the best, that they could give him every day, because he was going to give them their best. And again, when you think about, these two other coaches that are on this panel, it's almost the same thing. Okay, I'm going to give you my best, every day, practice, game, I'm giving you my best, but in turn, then, I want your best as well. That doesn't mean you got to go out and score 30 or 40, but you're going to give me the best that you can give me, every time you step on this floor, which is one thing I demand. Okay, even in practice, I want the best you can give me today. And again, that will be off days still, you got to give me the best that you can give me, because I'm giving you the best that I can give you every day.
Right. And Coach Lawton, I believe I read a post, you said that he influenced, he had a big impact on you. What really stands out as far as how Coach Thompson conducted himself, and maybe his coaching philosophies that really stuck with you?
Okay, first of all, he always led with defense. He ran different defenses. He always led with defense. That was very important to him. And what I like most about him, he took chances on kids. He took chances on kids and molded them. 98% of the time it worked out. Allen Iverson, Patrick Ewing didn't have the best reputation coming out of high school. A lot of those guys, Graham, and he took chances on kids, and he molded them and kept them on the right path in Washington, D.C., which is, I don't know what people see out in the area, but Washington, D.C. is not roses and trees, and, it was hard on that campus, and that's where the Hoya paranoia came about, because he kept his team tight and in a group, and it was just amazing to see how he did that. Different type teams. He had big teams. He had small teams. He coached what he brought in there and what he had. The 1 year he had Zoe and Dikembe playing together.
Twin Towers.
So I just liked how it always started with defense with them and how hard they played. And as the coach has said, it had to start in practice. You just don't get to a game to see that. So it was just amazing how he brought those kids and that toughness together. He got some kids from not too good areas because he really recruited from New Orleans. I don't know whether you've been to New Orleans, but yeah, pretty rough there.
Pretty rough.
Yeah.
Right. And he actually honored his the scholarship to AI, who I believe spent a couple months there incarcerated, but he stuck with him, and there are quite a few coaches that would not have stuck with him. And one of the memories that really stick with me today, Melvin, Darryl, and Lawton, is the image of him hugging, at 82 when he lost the title to North Carolina, but Freddie Brown threw that errant pass, and James Worthy was playing the passing lanes perfectly and picked it off. And my heart broke because I was a big Georgetown fan, but to see him seek him out and bear hug him, I mean, that showed a lot of character to me because that must have been tough.
Well, he was passionate about that. So he knew if, kid made that kind of mistake, it's like, oh man, I don't want this kid to be crushed from this. And we've all been there, man. We've got to be able to pick these kids up when they're at their lowest as well. It's easy to pat them on the back when they're going good. But what happens when that kid is not playing well or something's at home? We deal with all those things, and you can tell again from what Lawton was saying. He got kids that, again, even though they were talented, they didn't have the best reputations. Even Alonzo Mourning,
you're right.
Foster homes, but he wanted something a little bit more from them than just the basketball. Okay, the basketball's going to take care of itself. And I know that's something that, those other two guys on the panel say all the time. But let's mold you as well. Let's make this something, that you're going to be proud of. Your family's going to be proud of. Everybody's going to be proud of. So, he was a motivator.
Yeah. And when he walked off the court, Lawton mentioned it earlier, in 1989, I believe, against Boston College, was Prop 42. And that was a proposal to ban, I believe, inacademically eligible freshmen. And by him walking off the court, once again, taking a stand on principle. And I just wanted to ask, as not only coaches, but community leaders, how important is that for you that we take a stand against injustices and take a stand for your players as well, not just they're a commodity and they're there to help me win a championship, but just to have such long and distinguished coaching careers at a high school level tells me that you're vested in these young people, and I'm sure you've gotten college offers just based on the championships and your character. But tell me, why was it important to stay, is what I'm asking. Why was it important to stay when there was opportunities to go to the college level?
Well, I'll start with that. I thought about it a lot when I was younger. Then I said, who's going to get the kids ready to go to college? If not me, then who? Because whatever I've done has never been about me. It's always been about kids. Honest to God, I can't even tell you how many wins I have. I don't know. I don't keep up with that. I kind of got an idea how many losses I have because those stick with me more than the wins. I said, if I don't stay here and try to help mold these young men, who's going to do it? And, I don't teach in the best communities, as neither one of us do. So we get kids that we have to work with. Lord knows I've had some I've had to work with. They had me taking medicine and high blood pressure meds. I've had a few that I really had to work with, honestly. And it was all love. I kicked a few of them off, and they come back crying the next day, and suspended them games, and they come back crying, and then they call me now, Coach, man, thanks. You were my dad while I was there. So I understand him as well as the other gentlemen, because we didn't coach in the Rosie schools now.
Yeah. To piggyback off of what Lawton saying, he's exactly right. We've in our careers, and I would say, and I'll bet my last dime in saying this for all of us, is that we've come across an Allen Iverson mentality type player, or Morning mentality type player, or a background that somewhat similar to those two athletes in particular. And there's a way that we had to show tough love and not just cater to them because of them being a great athlete. We're about not just the wins. It's not about the wins, and it's not about us. And it's the same thing what Coach Lawton said about not being with our successful careers. You always hear, well, y'all should be in college, or you should be in college somewhere. But and my attitude was, who is going to be that person to prepare that athlete for college? And I always put the pressure on myself and being that person, and knowing that it's always fulfilling to me to prepare them for the next level, opposed to being in the next level in coaching. So it's been, I guess, 26 years or 27 years for me. And never had a doubt in my mind in the past 15 years of leaving high school to go and coach collegiate basketball, because I really enjoy preparing those kids for the next level. And I'm going to say, not being selfish, but I always felt that it was me, just like it's Coach Lawton, just like it's Coach Burrows, are those people that can only prepare those kids that are on that bubble of wanting to give up or want to lure away from the sport because of a bad background of saying, well, you're going to mount out to be nothing because of your history. But in us believing in that kid and really pressing and not showing any favoritism, when he messes up, he get the same dosage as any other player on the team, and not trying to stroke that player, because we have those good athletes. I'm not like Lawton or Burrows. They have them year to year, so they don't have that kind of problem there. But in molding that good attitude, but with that good athlete, but that has that little hot temper that can push you to basically say, no, I can't deal with him. I'm going to let him go. But there are things that you have to do, to keep him going, like suspend them, give him a taste of suspension, or not allowing him to come to practice, because a lot of those kids that plays basketball, they want to be in that gym. And that's a punishment to tell them you're suspended for a couple of days. You can't practice. That's just like putting them out of your mind as far as believing in them. And that hurts more than anything to tell a kid, well, I don't want you, you're suspended for a couple of days, you can't come to practice, you know, but still, you know, believing in those kids and wanting the best for them because of whatever situation they're in, and letting them know that, you know, we're here for you.
Mm-hmm.
We're here for you.
Okay.
And I would agree. I think we've all had, you know, the little tinkerings with, you know, with college, but then there's always a mom or dad or cousin or somebody come say, man, I want you to coach this kid, you know. And we've all seen that kid that's, man, you know, nobody else want, okay. And again, you know, for me, it was like, you know, the gym at some point was an outlet for a whole lot of kids, you know, because they didn't have, you know, they want to go home and do this. Okay. I mean, I've had the Rodney Stones that are kids that are neighborhood, same thing with Melvin, and probably the same thing with Lawton, that are neighborhood kids. And if it weren't for the gym, then they would be some of everywhere, you know. So, but you bring them, it's something common that you know, that just draws them, you know, to the gym where, and again, but you get that kid and you find that kid that's maybe not so perfect, and he's giving you everything he's got. And I believe that all kids, you know, are looking for some type of discipline, you know, because they may not be getting it at home. A young kid, 15, 16, that can stay out to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't know what he's getting at home. You know, but as coaches, we're telling you, okay, you need to be here. You've got to do this. You've got to do this. We're giving them, you know, that discipline that they may be missing at home. And that's not every kid, but that's, you know, that there are some kids, you know, okay, well, no, you take the day off. You know, I will lock my gym. Okay, you're a minute late. I'll see you tomorrow. You know. Then I want to see if you have the initiative that you're going to be on time that next day. Because again, we are just teaching more than basketball. And I know in all of our organizational meetings, we talk about it. Okay, we're trying to teach young men to grow up, they got to go out into the real world. You know, one of my main speeches was, hey, you're protected inside these gates. Once you come inside these gates, you're protected. But if I can't help get you ready, what happens when you turn 18 and you're outside this gate? What kind of decisions are you making? You know, are we impacting some of those decisions that you're making? And we probably all had kids that have gone to jail and have done this. And those are probably some of the kids that also come back and say, well, thank you, coach. You know, I appreciate what you tried to do for me. You know, obviously the stars have come back, but you've had that other end of the spectrum kid that has come back as well and say, man, I wish I had listened to you. You know, I didn't have much at home, or, you know, even if I had mom and dad at home, you know, I wasn't listening. I was doing this, doing that. So it is for us, you know, more than just, you know, more than the coaching and more than just the wins. And we've all had friends and other coaches that have kind of left the high school ranks and going on to college, and people again will ask, okay, well, why, you know, Melvin, or why Darryl, or why Lawton, why you guys haven't had that? And it's just something that's just there. And again, a whole lot of times it be that parent or it be that uncle or somebody, coach, I want you to coach this kid right now. Just hang around. I still get that today. Okay, coach, my kid is in the 2nd grade. You gonna be around? I won't be around. But you'll get that because those people have instilled or gotten trust out of you, and people know when you're right with them. You know, and I'll say that, especially players, they know when you're using them, you know, for athletics, or you're using them for this or that. You know, which is that difference with AAU ball. Now, I know we could probably do a whole panel, on that. But as high school coaches, we're more given. You know, we see that. We see it we see that every day. You know, so it is a little bit more than just like you say, rolling the ball out and running, run the X play or run this or run that. We're teachers. We're fathers. We're everything. When we're in that gym, when we're at that school, even now, you don't even have to be at the school. Like Lawton say, somebody don't call you, coach. What you doing? How you doing? I still get players today. They'll call. Hey, coach, just checking in on you, seeing how you, seeing how you're doing. And okay, that means we made an impact in somebody's lives. And when you think about Melvin, 27 years, my 27, Lawton's 20 something, it's like, man, we've impacted a lot of kids.
Yeah. Okay. And if you're just joining us here in Game Changers with Favorite Line, we have three of the most decorated high school basketball coaches, Melvin Randall, Darryl Burrows, and Lawton Williams. And I wanted to ask all three of you, when did it really hit you that this was your purpose? Was it any specific year? Was it after a championship? Did it happen naturally? Was there a moment that really registered for you that this is where I need to be impacting young people positively?
If I can start, my father was a coach. My uncle was a coach. So I saw that, coming up. They impacted. And then my first coach was Butch Ingram. My high school coach was Butch Ingram. And I'm like, wow, man, this guy getting a lot of respect right here. Nobody messes with this, with this guy. So, all my life, those people had been there. And again, my initial goal was, okay, once he, turned the job over to me, okay, let me try it. Let me give it 10 years. I had already been an assistant, like I told you, for 7 years. Okay, let me try it. Let me see if I can do 10 years. See if I can make an impact. See if I can have a growth in this thing. And all of a sudden, 10 years turned into 20. 20 turned into 27. It's like, man, I don't want to. And again, my counterpart, Pender, she's been there 40 years. I'm like, no, I can't do 40. I'm not going to even attempt to even fool myself to think that I'll do 40. But that time does fly. So it just continues.
Coach Randall?
And to add on to what Coach Burrows was saying, I think when I really said this is where I belong was really 2001. It was 2001. I mean, even after winning in 97 and 99, with the team that I had at that time and really, molding them into the type of players that I wanted them to be, and not just players, but young men, productive men, that led to really a few years to the next championship that I had, which was 2007. So there was in between, in starting, there were times that I was outnumbered, number one, as far as having a disadvantage to the opposing team, or being in a disadvantaged position to the opposing team, and still coming out on top. And that was learned a lot with one of Burrows' mentors, Butch Ingram, my high school coach, John Keister, Greg Samuels, Marcia Pender. I have a list of players, Wade Edmond. And believe it or not, when I say this, people think I throw a curveball when I bring up the name Louise Crocco, who was the legend volleyball coach at Carmen Gibbons. Right. I had to go in and see, well, how is this lady been so successful with these teams year after year, and coaching these girls, and I would look at their demeanor, not only on the court, but on the bench, and look at her demeanor against the opposing team. So I gathered a lot from her in that way, as far as converting from volleyball to basketball. And I thought she was queen to me as far as sports were concerned, not just volleyball, but overall. Butch Ingram, there's nothing that you could have said bad about Butch Ingram to me. You know, I'm a pretty laid back person, but the attitude changes. There's something negative that comes out of your mouth when it comes to a Butch Ingram. But I gather a lot of information from those coaches. So what I say is that when I'm in that box, I'm not in that box alone. I got the Butch Ingram in there with me. I got Louise Crocco. I have Greg Samuels, Wade Edmonds, you know, John Keister. And I think that I've been pretty successful because of them.
Yeah. But can you imagine that some young coaches, hopefully, pretty soon will have Melvin Randall in that box with them, you know, saying the same things that you're saying now, is that, you know, they're watching us. They may not totally emulate us and do some of the things that we're doing, but everybody kind of gathers to success. Okay, what is Coach Lawton doing down in Miami? I know up in Broward, we're worrying about it. Okay, what is Lawton doing, you know, over at Norland? What is Melvin doing? Now he's probably throwing the whole county up in uproar. Okay, what's he gonna do with Chaminade? You know, you put everything in because then that means there are concerns there. Okay, well, we're watching, you know, and young coaches, you know, there are a lot of young coaches out there that hopefully they're trying to gain some of those insights, you know, as well, as far as, wow, man, okay, you know. And again, he called, you know, Greg Samuels. I watched Greg Samuels on the sideline and said, wow, man, I like some of this stuff, you know, that he's doing. Wade Edmonds, again, our circle, you know, is small in those people that we kind of look, you know, Louise Crocker, you know, from Gibbons, all our circles are, you know, kind of intertwined, you know, a little bit, you know, even down in Miami, you know, when we start thinking about, you know, the coach that was at Highland Miami Lakes, you know, like, wow, man, some of these guys are really, 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 you know, really successful. What are they doing? You know, if I want to be successful, then obviously you've got to home in on some skills that hopefully are going to help you to kind of bring your game up, you know, a little bit. One of my biggest pet peeves is that, you know, coming up, you know, we used to go to the clinic all the time. I used to go with Coach Ingram, and my thing was, how can you evaluate me if you aren't helping prepare me? Where am I getting this preparation, all this stuff from? If you aren't providing me with those tools, you aren't sending me to clinics, you aren't doing this, you aren't giving me all those things that you want this program to be successful. Okay, there's certain things that come along with being successful. You know, for a lot of that stuff, you know, we've had to kind of gather that stuff from other people. You know, when they put on a coaching clinic now, you know, there's 1,000 coaches there. Right. Trying to learn and trying to get insights into, you know, into the game, which is really a simple game. Yeah.
And Coach Lawton, how about you as far as influences and just kind of incorporating bits and pieces of whether your mentors or other coaches?
Yeah, down here when I was younger, I mean, growing up a little kid, Jake Caldwell, and he's my frat brother now, but he was my dad's frat brother, and him and Herb Balkman, who I actually started coaching under.
Mm.
And I had mimicked them when I was younger. I mean, young, like 8, 9, 10. We go to Miami-Dade North to see those two coach against each other. Two Kappas going at it. Great games, great demeanor on how they did things. Ernie Bell's another one. Now, I'll be honest with you. I knew I kind of wanted to coach. We played Carroll City. This was my junior year, 1984. John Thompson was at the game.
Wow.
Recruiting Irvin Thomas, who ended up going to Kentucky and then transferred to Florida State. They were up about 90-20. And Irvin and John, the starters, were still in the game. So I said right then, because I kind of knew I wanted to be a coach even when I was younger. I said, I hope he's still coaching when I start coaching.
Mm.
But he wasn't. and I learned from that. I never, ever ran the score up on people. Never. And I had some teams where I could have done it. Because I learned I knew how I felt as a player. We got those kids in there and it's 90-14, but I guess he said, well, John Thompson's here and Terry Holland from Virginia, they were there. So it's like, well, I got to let them see them play. Okay, what are they going to see when you're up 60 points? But there was no running clock back then. You got that for 32 minutes. No running clock to bail you out. So those were some of the guys, and I kind of knew I was going to be a coach, I guess, from when I was a little kid. I didn't know whether it be football or basketball because I played both sports. But I tried to coach football one year, and come June, and we out there in this 99 degrees. I said, no, this ain't for me. I did it for like a half a summer one summer. I said, nah, I got to go in a climate that's we can control, a controlled climate. Now, what's funny, we do all our conditioning outside, so whatever. Yeah. As soon as they give us the thing to start again, because, I would start Tuesday, would usually be when I would start after Labor Day. Tuesday after Labor Day, we on the track, baby.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask, how much?
Can I say something before you say that question? You know, I want to thank Melvin because a whole lot of times he's had teams that would just kill us, beat us by 30, but didn't. And again, I equate that to friendship and not trying to rub somebody's nose in it. Now there are coaches that may deserve that as well.
Yes, they are.
But for the most part, it's not inducive for us to just go out and just kill somebody by 30, by 40, 50 points. Makes no sense.
Right. Yeah.
And my kids would know it because I'll tell some of them. I go to them at halftime, bruh. You got the first 3 minutes of the third quarter. You better do you.
Right.
That's it. And they be looking at me, and it depends on the kid. Some of the kids, like Zach Johnson, he hated playing in those games.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just really. Now, we were playing Ely or Dillard. All right, let's get down now, baby. Mm-hmm. But if we were playing some of the teams that were lesser talent, all right, coach, take me out, please. So it depends on the kids. Some of them whined about it. Right. Come on, coach, let me get 2 more minutes. No, nope. Mm-hmm. Everybody practices, so it's these other guys' time to play.
Yeah, right. I wanted to ask all three of you, just always had that respect, mutual respect for each other. Sometimes you don't see it when there's so many championships at stake, when you're facing each other to get to the big show, to get to Lakeland. But my experience, 20 years of covering your programs, talk to each other maybe about that respect that you have for each other, despite these really battles, these hard-fought battles that you've had the past couple of decades. But what keeps you bonded, and what keeps that mutual respect going, do you think?
Well, as the younger coach who got into this younger, I had mad respect for those two before I even coached. I go watch their games when they played each other. Real basketball. You go to Ely, you have to get there at 5:30 when they playing Dillard. I'm standing up at the top. So I had respect for them before I even started coaching, and they're great people outside of basketball. They're both great men. Just great men. You see them anywhere. I saw Coach Burrows at the 7-Eleven one time. He riding a bike with his son that he's graduated now, but he was like 10 then. Stopped and talked to me, and Coach Randall. It's just respect, like you said. So now, I want to beat them both, but after the game, that's over. Coach Burrows has ended my season twice. Coach Randall had me crying in his locker room in my first regional final in 2005. It was funny. My mom, who was deceased then, she was trying to run behind me because I was trying to get to that locker room before the tears came down. And we sat in there and the kids cried together, and they said, well, we'll never want to feel like this again. And that was a kind of young team. I had 3 seniors. And the next year in 2006, they won the state title. So it's a respect, like you said, outside of basketball, because I truly think they're great men besides basketball. Just great men. So that's how it was for me, respecting them.
Well, thank you for that. If I can kind of piggyback on that, we're friends.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's important as well, is that once the game is over, oh man, I just don't. No, it's never that. Okay, the better team most time comes out and wins those games. I cannot but have the greatest of admiration and respect for Melvin Randall, for Lawton Williams. And that should be just common and known. And again, we've shared players. Okay, he's got it's never oh man, never ever that. It's always, because again, it's beyond basketball. As far as what we do. Man, Dillard and Ely goes back way before Melvin and myself. So there's no hate or animosity, of any kind. And Coach Lawton and Norland came up behind us, and you're looking, you're like, okay, we got somebody else to contend with. But once you get to know these guys, it's nothing but the greatest of respect. And if I can't win it, man, go ahead and win it. Because again, Fabian, we talked about it. It's 20-some titles between the 3 of us down here in South Florida. Nobody's done it.
Not to cut you off, I don't know if Coach remember this, Coach Burrows, when they beat us in 16. I went to his locker room. I said, look, go up there and win the thing now. I was talking to his players.
Yeah.
Because I think, we were favored to win. Would have been their 5th championship in a row, or 4th, or whatever it was. I had DeJuan Hewell, and they were, and I knew Coach would get them right once he got to them, but they were celebrating and, oh, we beat Norland. No. That's not it. Go up there and win the things.
Yeah.
And I was up there rooting hard for him.
Yeah.
But that's just the respect I have for Coach in his program. If I was going to lose, okay. I don't never like to lose, but I can take losing to Dillard. I can take losing to Ely. So, and I went in their locker room and I told them, like, hey, let's go win the thing now.
Yeah.
I think Coach was getting interviewed, so he didn't see me in there. Right.
Okay.
I'll have to say the same thing, is that we have the utmost respect for one another, And I honestly believe that we're on the same wavelength when it comes to taking the limelight off of us and pouring it into our kids, because we understand that's who and what it's about. It's not about it's not about us or the wins or anything like that. Like I said, when we compete against each other, of course we're going to go at it, and it's a good rivalry, and whoever wins, of course we praise the winner sincerely, because there are some coaches and that you come across that you don't praise sincerely because of their character, but I think the respect that we have for one another is unbearable. Like for an example, when we this past season, when Coach Burrows had the opportunity to go and win state, of course I was cheering for him. Whenever we're up there together and not playing against one another, of course we're going to be cheering for, rooting each other on to go ahead and finish the job. But if one of us are up there or two up there, we're going to cheer for each other. That's the respect. That's just the ultimate respect that we have. And I know there are times that the media tries at times, and you all can correct me if I'm wrong, to kind of put us against one another as far as the character of one another when it comes to us playing against each other. But that didn't work. We just solely believe in each other, and we're good friends outside of those black lines.
Mm-hmm.
And it boils down to respecting each other.
Mm-hmm. Just given what's going on, what we've seen the past couple months, and obviously being father figures, being mentors to your players, community leaders as well, what would be your message, or what has been your message? I know basketball season obviously hasn't started yet, but to our young people, your players in particular, as far as what we've witnessed and some direction from you, what would that message be?
Personally, I talk to my kids about, look, we're in a situation now. Don't put yourself in any position whereas you're going to do something that will make someone, I'm trying to put this in a political way.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do anything that's going to make someone have to use deadly force on you. I'll put it to you like that. And I talked to him about that. Don't put yourself in that situation.
Right. Totally
Complying
agree.
and something. Okay. You got it, Coach.
So I totally agree with Coach Lawton. Is that you never want to put yourself in a situation as at that moment of time of being under the spotlight, because of you think that you can beat the system. Although the system could be wrong or right, but you can't beat the system the way it is going now. So don't handle it in a way that will put yourself in a harmful position. You just go with the flow, and everything will be okay. But don't get outside of your character with the some are quick to be hot-headed, and hopefully there are times that they have a reason to be hot-headed, but then you got to think about the way the system is, that you have to put that on the back burner because of putting your life in jeopardy. You know, there's sometimes that you got to back away from those type situations and go from there to really, you know, take care of yourself and not put yourself in a situation like that. But the main thing that I really talk to the kids about is that, you know, there are some things that you're going to have to really turn away from. You have to turn the other cheek in order to push harm away from you.
I would agree. And again, I would say that, you know, we all, you know, as coaches, we all talk about social injustice. And again, one of my biggest things is that the protection that high school kids, okay, but once you turn 18 and you're outside that gate, you've got to, you know, there's a certain set of standards and system that's, and our school's in the black neighborhoods. So, you know, we're dealing with a majority of black males. Okay, they're building jails are full of black males. Now, I will say with social injustice, there is a way to gather your information, stand up, you know, also stand up for what you believe in as well. And as coaches, you know, I remember when they first started the Black Coaches Association, you know, of the colleges. You know, that was one way that those coaches were kind of setting a standard and putting a mark on stuff. You see the NBA players now is that, okay, we've got to do it collectively. We've got to do it, and we've got to do it the right way so that, you know, we don't, because we probably wouldn't see a whole lot of social injustice being on our campuses every day. You know, but we've all been outside. You know, I went to a major white school, you know, University of Tennessee, and I tell people all the time, you know, when I left my apartment, I couldn't count, you know, the number of blacks that were around. You know, there were 1,000 black on my campus. So it's like, man, you know, you have to, you know, you got to really be on your P's and Q's about your surroundings, what's going on, and adhering to whatever policy. But again, there's a way to also, you know, get your voice heard where you aren't seen as, you know, we're seen as, you know, agitators and, you know, Dillard and Ely, man, they're gonna fight, you know, it's not about that. You know, it's about a friendly competition between two neighborhood schools. Yeah. So we have to teach our young people, not just our basketball players, but we all and we deal with basketball players, but we're surrounded by all kind of kids, you know, girls and different colors, different creeds, you know, that we have to kind of teach those things as, you know, those things as well, you know, about social injustice and social justice, you know, social justice movements as well, you know. And yeah, we could be doing a lot more. And it's funny because now it's so prevalent with our leadership that's up above that stuff is coming out, that you're looking at your neighbor, you know, that you had maybe for 10, 15 years and kind of wondering about that person.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Like, man, what do you stand for? You know, well, you know, just because we aren't the same skin color doesn't make me less of a person than you are.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, we're going through some tumultuous times right now in order to kind of, and I don't think you can ever totally level the playing field, but just to kind of bring some of those ideals that are buried deep, you know, kind of bring those out a little bit so that, you know, people can feel a little bit more, you know, comfortable about, you know, about life. Yeah.
Right. And I'll just say this, if somebody wants to comment on it or not, it's okay, but I think coaches, non-Black coaches, need to be more vocal right now. It seems like the NBA players have this huge burden on them. They are always the one carrying the torch. LeBron James, especially, I don't think it's fair. I think more people need to step up every now and then. You see a coach Saban, do a march on campus. That's all good, but we have so many college football teams out there. We have so many college basketball teams out there. We have so many professional teams out there. And for the most part, it's cricket. It's like, the whole focus is starting the season. So I am disappointed. I would hope that in the future, more white coaches and coaches that are not Black come out and support. We can't do this by ourselves. We're going to need, they have our kids playing for their teams. They have an obligation to stand up for our kids as well. So that's just my take on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say I agree with that, and you can see even with LeBron, and I've met LeBron, and he's always kind of been that way, where they put onus on those owners. Okay, what are y'all doing? Are you contributing to? You're going to contribute some way. You just can't be in the middle and say that you aren't taking a side. Yeah, you're making all this money.
Right.
What is your contribution to this? Let me know. Just let me know how you are, Fabian. I don't disrespect anybody, but if Fabian had a different ideology about things, long as I know that, then I can deal with it. Don't be where your head about racism or social injustice, and you just keep that here. I can deal with it if you see it, And there are probably a lot of people, and I think that's what those NBA got. Okay, we even though we're making tons of money, man, we see it. I see an owner here that's a billionaire, and I remember with the football team. Okay, I work for you. Okay, man, I think that like a slave mentality. Okay, man, I'm not so there's a lot of things that could be done a lot different than the way they're being taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. I wanted to ask you on maybe a lighter note, who has been your toughest cover opposing player? And I didn't cover that game, but I know that Dillard faced Amari Stoudemire more than a couple of years ago. And legend has it, Coach, that he was talking a little trash to you on the sideline. He said you either sent a double or a triple team his way. I'm not sure. So who has been your toughest cover? More than likely, maybe a future pro, but off the top of your head, who has been your toughest cover as a coach?
Well, Stoudemire definitely was one, and my comment to him was, okay, I don't know what you're trying to do. I'm trying to win the ball game. So but to go along with that, I told Jimmy Tobias and Kevin Thomas, two all-state kids, okay, let's trap him high. Make him give the ball up. They looked at me and said, Coach, you got to be crazy. He 230 pounds. It was like, but we've all had those, those type games where the opposing guy may have been, I've seen. We talked about the Ely, guy comes lighting up for 30-something points. Okay, wow, man, I'm in my own gym. I'm trying to get out of there with my life in my own gym.
Nationally,
I
would say, I coached in the city of Palm Springs, so
that's stacked. That's pretty stacked up there every year.
Might have been bad. Locally, I coached against Kenny Boynton at Ely, but he was a freshman then. I could tell he was going to be a stud.
Right.
Coach Burrows, I I can't call his name right now, the football player that went to Kentucky. I said, look, they got a kid going to Florida State in the ACC, and he wasn't their best player. So, what's the kid name, Coach, that went to Kentucky?
Jordan Wright.
Jordan Wright. Man, grown man. And, Coach, it was your point guard on that last, I think y'all went undefeated that year. Yeah, he finished at UCF. Coach Randall. I can't call his name right now.
UCF.
You mean
USF.
South
USF.
South Florida.
I went undefeated that year.
Renaud, what his name is?
Quincy Redoux.
Redoux, yeah. Oh, man.
He's a man child.
I remember we played Ely that year. They were better than us. I was just trying to keep the score close. And my smart behind, well, I'm going to wait till the fourth quarter and track it. And that big, strong guard was setting up traps and finding the right person. So I outcoached myself on that one.
No, you didn't. he was a handful.
Wow. So those are and Angel Rodriguez at Crop. Jesus Christ. They're very smart.
Yeah. He's a tough cover.
Yeah. So but nationally it probably was Bam.
Yeah.
Or the kid that went to Duke from Jacksonville. He was very good. He's in the NBA now also. I can't think of his name right now.
Grayson Allison.
Grayson Allen. Yep.
Yeah, he could jump out of the gym.
Yeah, he lit us up for 30.
With something else. How about you, Coach Randall?
Well, I can name two.
Okay.
And local, and they both were nationally as well, and they come under Coach Burrows' guidance that I've had nightmares with in my time, and that's Keon Dooling, and I guess his nickname is Tootie. I think his last name is Gilbert. Clarence Gilbert. Those two right there. Yeah. Didn't have any answers. Didn't have any answers for those two players.
Yeah.
And
again, people didn't
combo.
Yeah, and again, people didn't know Clarence was averaging 21 points his junior year before Keon came over.
Right.
Keon came over and was averaging 23 while Clarence was still averaging 20 points. I'm saying, man, but we had a bunch of other freshmen too now. So those guys, those guys were a little different.
Right. Yeah, they were definitely cut from a different cloth against me.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and not only as I speak on them about their athleticism or their skill in basketball, off the court, great young men. Mm-hmm. Great young men. So those were the two that really stick in my head to this day.
Yeah.
That I didn't have any answers for. My players didn't have any answers for. We just took that one and walked out of his gym. We got a good beating from him. Not just those two. Of course, there were three others on the floor, and then you have the other ones that are on the bench. But those two players, they stood out in my career.
Mm-hmm. Well, Melvin, you're starting to give me. Melvin, you're starting to give me headaches because see, when you start saying that, then that stuff brings back 6'9" and all kind of just like
Yeah, he was a 6'9" was a different player too. I mean.
Yeah. And Ely has had and Norland as well has had many of them.
Many great players.
Yeah. I remember Lance Stevenson against you, Coach, City of Palms.
Coach, yes.
Remember Lance? And he was a man among boys, man. He jogged out that locker room. I was like, you could tell NBA all day. And
yes, sir. Yeah, he was a different type of player. There, Kenny Boynton and him, they were going back to back and at it in the City of Palms. But yeah, he was another player. But the two most dominant that really, stay with me until this day is Tootie and Keon.
Yeah. I don't know how you put out those fires at once. I mean, one's going to go off, and I don't know what you do with the other one.
All right.
So Coach, how about the NBA playoffs? And I wanted to ask you before we wrap up, how much the game has changed. It seems as if, at least on a pro level, it has moved to a wing, big guard, dominant game as opposed to throw it in a post and work from there. And Coach Lawton, I wanted to ask you first, do you see kind of the traditional big man really being phased out, and how has that impacted the high school game as well?
Well, it really has. I mean, now it's basically positionless basketball in the league. Everybody's handling it and shooting it, and a lot of high school kids, they want to play that way. So I can't be the dinosaur. I have to change with the times. And with the team, or if we play this year, with the team I have now, that's kind of how we are. I don't have a legitimate big like, I had some of those guys in my time. We don't have that. So we're going to play positionless basketball. I got to get with the times. Personally, I hate watching it. You shoot a three. No, you shoot a three. No, you shoot a three. No. Yeah. I mean, I hate watching it. I only watch the Heat because I'm a fan.
Right.
And I don't watch them the whole game. I turn it on at halftime. Oh, okay, let's see what's going on. Like last night, I watched the last 2 minutes of the second quarter, and I called my assistant coach, Brandon. I said, we're going to win, right? Oh, coach, we're shooting 50%. I said, coach, we're not playing that well, and they had 9 turnovers suddenly in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
We're only down 5.
Right.
And mentally, they know they can beat the Bucks. We're going to win the game.
Yep.
He called me this morning and said, you were right, coach. But I can't be a dinosaur. It's how the game's played now. So that's how we're going to play it. Now, we're still going to guard you.
Right.
We're going to play positionless basketball. And, oh, well.
Well, my thing with the way the NBA has turned around with mainly a lot of the guard play opposed to post is I've been doing that for the past 20 years is basically guard oriented or perimeter oriented basketball and speeding the game up and pretty much running a controlled break, not like it's a making it look like it's a part game, out of a part game. But I've always had, I shouldn't say always had, there are some teams that I had big men, but my big men were considered, around 6'5", 6'6", and I made sure they knew how to guard out on the perimeter as well as play on the perimeter opposed to just having their back against the basket.
Right.
So that's what I've been doing all my career because I didn't get lucky like Lawton or Coach Burrows have 6'8", 6'9". And I'd be wondering, well, where are they getting these kids from? Every year there's a 6'8", 6'9", 6'10". I say if I can just have one,
right,
to play on my team and to kind of change it a little bit, go inside out. But I've always worked with what I have and build from there. And they said with the Heat and the Bucks, I predicted that to one of my former players yesterday at 12. I said, well, the score is going to be 110 to 105. Heat winning.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a close prediction.
Right.
And the Heat, the Bucks have no answer for the Heat. I mean, they know, just like Coach Lawton said, the Heat know that they can beat them. And with the Giannis, if he's not getting it from inside, the way he's playing now is not happening from the outside, and that's how the Heat is really getting there, utilizing their quickness, just like Houston,
Right.
utilizing their quickness, and they're playing very, very well as well. So yeah, they're playing small ball, and they're getting away with it.
Right. Right. How are you, Coach Burrows? I see the Clippers winning it all because of their depth on the wing, and Kawhi being Finals MVP for the third team. How do you see the finals shaking out?
Well, the Clippers are tough, and to get back on how the game has changed, you know, and Dillard has been fortunate to have some bigs, and I would hope that, you know, teams would utilize their bigs. And again, if you take LA and Houston, they've got 2 7-footers on the floor, and ball doesn't go inside, or the correct pass is not made to a guy 7 foot over a guy that's 6'4". I'm like,
Wow.
you know, but it has changed the game, and it has changed the, you know, trickle down to obviously the college, and obviously to, you know, the high school as well, as far as, you know, everybody wants to handle the ball. But for me, a shooter is somebody like Kenny Boynton that can come out and or Kawhi Leonard that can come out and shoot balls. They have guys shooting balls that, man, some of my guys could probably come out and shoot just as well. They can go 2 for 10. I mean, but they just keep shooting, and it has taken a lot of I think a lot of the fun out of, you know, watching the pro game, is that, you know, they just shoot. Okay, you're open, you shoot it. Okay, you're open, you shoot it. You open, you shoot it. Okay, we're down 10, and you still shoot. You know, as high school coaches, I know so got to do something else. We're not hitting this shot right here. We got to do something else. You know.
What do you do when your kids travel the country and they're being trained by certain people and AAU, and they develop bad habits?
You got another show for this?
That's I know, right?
It's like you got to bring them back in the fold, and how tough has that been, say, the last 15 years?
Briefly, one of my most favorite players, Zachary Peacock, he's playing in Germany now, sells his nails. I told him to transfer 1 year after travel. Just go, man. We don't do that. And what I do, I always like to say, okay, travel's over. Norland, we play this way. And I have a reputation of not letting kids play. No, I'm not going to let you do what you can't do.
Right.
Like Coach Burrows just said, you're shooting 10 for 12, 2 for 12. No, you're not going to keep shooting threes. No, you're not going to do that. I'm not going to let you do what you cannot do.
Right.
That's where that reputation, I don't let the kids play, If you can score, I'm going to let you get down. Cleon Roberts averaged 25 points for me. Zach Johnson, DeJuan Hewell, Zach Peake. If you can score, we run it. The year I had Cleon, and that was one of my favorite teams to coach. Those kids knew he was going to get the ball.
Right.
And we didn't really have offense. We ran a motion, and they just set screens for him, and he played off it, and he would pass the ball also. So if he got doubled, he passed it. But it's a lot of things about coaching I need improvement in. But one thing I'm not going to let you do what you can't do. You be doing it sitting over there by
me. I agree. Cold-hearted with Coach Lawton, and also with Coach Burrows as far as another show being at least PG rated when it comes to AAU, talking about AAU. There's a lot of stuff that we as high school coaches have to clean up from our players that they gathered through AAU. You know, because some have been given this leeway of being able to play however they want to play outside of their means, not within the game plan. For an example, like Coach Lawton was saying, you shooting 2 for 10, even mid-range, and you want to go behind the arc and try and take a few shots behind? No. It doesn't work like that. Not under my guidance. You'll be seeing my back because I'm always standing. And you know, it's just it gets a little frustrating at times when you know that you have to clean up their attitude and knowing that that's something that they don't do under your guidance, but given that leeway of going behind the arc and shooting, or just doing things that they're not really used to doing, and want to bring it in a organized setting, high school setting, under my guidance. No, that doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. You got to come to an understanding of you got to stay within your means and play the game the way we teach you. And not having you chained up or restricted from some things, but just don't come in trying doing stuff that you've gathered from AAU and thinking that it's going to be okay, you know, in my program, which it's not. So there's a lot of cleaning up as high school coaches that we have to do before the actual start of the season.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we restrict. If you got a kid that can score 30 points, man, let him go. I think the biggest thing gets to be where they aren't in AAU is not concerned with the high school game. Okay, right. So you aren't, you know, we're trying to win ball games, and you're thinking about you. So you're going to score 30, not playing the defense, and we're going to lose by 30. You look good, but we got absolutely nothing, you know, nothing out of that. And the way it was initially set up, you know, there were very few AAU teams. You know, you got the very best players, and they traveled around and played other teams. Then all of a sudden that got watered down to where we are now, is that they're almost 30, 40 teams right in your own little neighborhood. Because now everybody is, you know, playing. And the biggest issue now for me has come about is that you're also now not only dealing with that AAU team, that player, but also those parents. Because now they see, oh, well, my kid is scoring 25 points on this AAU team. I've seen your kid play. and I don't think your kid can come in here and score 25 points. Right. He probably can if nobody else touched the ball, and he shoot 40 balls. That doesn't equal success. Right. You know, so there's a lot of, you know, the two games should work together. You know, they should hone their skills during AAU, and then come back and profile those skills, you know, with, you know, in the high school game. But the way a lot of those AAU coaches see it, they see it just the opposite. Okay, we don't need high school ball. man, just egg the ball and you go and score 30 and do this and do that and and let that be. And we've got to, again, like Coach Randall was saying, now we've got to come back and break attitudes. We've got to come back and break bad habits. It's just get to be really frustrating.
Yeah.
More of a money making thing because it's kids that get cut off my JV playing travel ball. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's a user. It's about money. It's a necessary evil, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
I think back when it first started, it had the right ideas.
Yeah.
Like Coach said, the best kids played.
Mm.
When I first started coaching, I had one kid play travel ball. I could play in the summer league. Now, the whole team playing travel ball, and I don't even do summer leagues because we go to team camps in June, and I don't do summer leagues because I don't have half of them here. And I'm like, okay, in South Florida, the past 2 or 3 years, 5 or 6 kids went Division I basketball, but 500 of you playing travel ball. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You're wasting time, money when you can be in the gym getting better. You're wasting your time, wasting your money. You want to take trips. Don't you and your family just go take a trip?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Plus the skill development or the same skill developments. If we open up our gyms,
Right.
they're getting the same skill development.
Right. Or better.
Plus probably better.
I would say that more structure.
Because you taking away all the necessary going behind the back and the step back. And why are you doing that? Nobody guarding you, you're still doing a step back. That makes no sense.
With the NBA.
Yeah, they see the guys in the league doing that. Well, they're in the league. You want?
Yes, no doubt. Yeah. Well, gentlemen, this has really been a privilege to pay this tribute to John Thompson, a trailblazer in so many ways. First Black coach to win a Division I NCAA title, and we all felt a lot of joy that day when Coach Thompson won in 1984, especially after 1982, when Michael Jordan hit that last second shot and James Worthy had that key steal. So I know Coach Thompson lives on in all of us, and I know other coaches are watching today, and they watched throughout your great and illustrious careers. And they too have learned so much just by watching you, whether on your bench or just in the stands. So once again, just a great honor to have you on the show and share so much knowledge, and just to really hear about this brotherhood in coaching, and know that you are really having a great impact on these young lives. So thank you so much for making it happen this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Fabian. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much, and best of luck this season. Coach Randall, I'm still not used to seeing you in red and Chaminade red. It's gonna take me a minute. I'm used to the green and orange for however long it was. So just bear with me, man. But I know you're definitely chasing your third different school that you're going to win a state title. I hear the fire in your voice, in your temperament, and I know that's definitely something that is on your radar.
Yeah. Hey, I'm wearing some red for him as well.
Okay.
I want to say something about that red, and my the young man that's on panel.
I got red for you.
Okay, appreciate that. And this red not only signifies the color of Chaminade, has something to do with that fraternity too as well.
No doubt. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Best of luck this season, and stay safe.